Hello everyone, this is your civil girl. Welcome to the fourth lecture of reinforced concrete structures. In the previous video we saw about the properties of fresh concrete. In this video we'll be seeing about the properties of hardened concrete, which will include shrinkage, creep and the various tests that are conducted on the hardened concrete. So let's get started. And before we start, I would really appreciate it if you could smash that like button, drop me a comment and share this free program with anyone who might need it. So first is shrinkage. Shrinkage is the reduction in the size or shape of a member because of the loss of water. It happens due to loss of water and due to increased cement content. Shrinkage is directly proportional to cement content and it is inversely proportional to the age till which the concrete has been cured. Since shrinkage is directly proportional to cement content, in pre-stressed concrete structures we are not advised to go more than M60 because as the grade of concrete increases, the cement content also increases. With the cement content, shrinkage also increases. So that is the reason why we are not going above M60 for pre-stressed concrete structures. So shrinkage can be reduced by prolonging the curing period. This is not practical, but shrinkage happens due to loss of moisture. So this can be avoided by prolonging the curing period. Next is if the concrete is placed in high relative humidity. High relative humidity means high moisture content will be present in the air and therefore the loss of water will be less. Next, less surface area. This makes sense because the lesser the area exposed to the environment, the lesser will be the shrinkage. Next is the value of shrinkage. The shrinkage is measured in terms of shrinkage strain. Shrinkage strain is equal to 0.003. This value is applicable for RCC and PCC and also for pre-tension pre-stress structures. Next, shrinkage strain for post-tension structures are 0.002 divided by log base 10 T plus 2, where T is in days. Next, let us see about creep. Creep, the definition is for a constant load or stress, deformation increases. Why I say load or stress is because stress is equal to load by area. So load is directly proportional to stress. So because of this I am saying that with constant load or stress, deformation increases. Creep doesn't happen immediately. It is a function of time. It happens over a period of time and it is not increasing continuously. It reaches constant at a point. We'll see why in a minute. By definition I mean that say I have a slab and there is a concentrated loading here and this load has been there on the structure from the starting of the usage of the structure. So after a period of time this slab will deform something like this. It may deform. If creep occurs, this may deform. This deformation due to this load, the sustained load is called as creep. So we'll see why this happens. This happens because of two reasons. First is dry shrinkage. Second is deformation of the structure. So dry shrinkage, there are different types of shrinkage. It is not that important in gate point of view, but for a better understanding, let us look into it. In concrete, there are so many pores. Even after hydration reaction, there will be so many pores. There will be big pores, there will be small pores, and in the CSH gel, right, in the gel also we will have some pores, and inside these pores water will be present. So these large pores, they don't have any problem. When water evaporates, nothing happens. But when these small pores and inside these CSH gel, what happens is these waters are held by surface tension. Since these pores are very small, the capillary effect takes place. So when this water is evaporated due to the high temperature, that is when dry shrinkage occurs. The big pores, they don't have any problem because the waters are not held by surface tension, but in small pores the water is held by surface tension. As a result, when the water is evaporated, dry shrinkage occurs, and because of this dry shrinkage, creep occurs. Next is deformation. Again, let us take a concrete structure. So in our concrete structure, I have a pore here and my water is evaporating, and if my water is evaporating, due to the pressure difference, the gas will try to come outside. Since it is confined inside a matter, it will not be able to come outside. So what it will do is it will start making way inside the concrete and at last it will come outside. Since it is making these ways and since it is subjected to a continuous load, because of this, deformation of the molecules happen and the concrete is deteriorated. This happens because of less relative humidity. Next is how to reduce creep. Creep can be reduced significantly if we increase the age of loading. As we know, concrete attains its strength throughout its lifetime. Although it attains its strength exponentially at first, after that the strength does not decrease, the attaining of strength. It keeps on increasing. So the later we load the structure, the lesser will be the creep. Next, if we increase relative humidity, this makes sense because it will reduce both rise shrinkage and deformation. Next is the use of strong aggregates instead of synthetic aggregates. Next, let us look about creep strain and creep coefficient. Like I said, if we draw a graph between strain and time, we can see that at the starting the strain is linear. After that it becomes non-linear, and at the stage it reaches a constant point. And this constant point is called as the ultimate creep strain, and this linear strain is called as elastic strain. This non-linear strain is called as creep strain. Creep strain by elastic strain will give me my creep coefficient. The value of creep coefficient to the corresponding age of loading is given here. At 7 days it is 2.2, 28 days it is 1.6, after 1 year it is 1.1. We can see that there is considerable difference between 7 days and 28 days itself. Next, let us see what this creep does to our structures. So we know that creep is for a constant stress, the deformation increases. That is our definition. So let us look at the stress strain curve of concrete. This may look like a linear structure, but in reality it is non-linear, the stress strain curve of concrete, because of the micro cracks that will be developed as soon as the concrete is loaded. Because of these micro cracks, the stress strain curve is not linear, but for research purposes we take it as linear. So here the slope of this curve will give me my elastic modulus. So let me draw this here. So for my first curve, for my new concrete, this is something like this. This is my stress, this is my strain, and this is my elastic modulus. So let us look into the definition of creep. For constant stress, deformation increases, which means let me take a stress value sigma 1, and for this sigma 1, epsilon 1 is my stress. So for the constant stress, my deformation increases. Strain is equal to change in length by original length. So I can say that strain is equal to deformation. So for the constant stress, my deformation increases, which means since my strain is increasing in this order, my strain is increasing. So for this stress it must be here, for this stress it must be here. On plotting that, I will get a curve that is lower than this curve. This is the reality curve after a certain period of time. The long-term stress strain curve will be something like this. Now if I take the slope of this curve, since the slope is less, my elastic modulus will also be less. And from this we can see the effect of creep. When creep is present in concrete, our elastic modulus reduces. And creep will always be present. So because of that, we will always take into account the effect of creep while designing. This elastic modulus that we get here is a short-term elastic modulus. The long-term elastic modulus can be computed from this formula, which is equal to the short-term elastic modulus divided by 1 plus theta, where theta is the creep coefficient. Next is tests on hardened concrete. So here I have like 5 strengths that can be found out from the tests on hardened concrete. They are compressive strength, flexural strength, direct tensile strength, split tensile strength, modulus of elasticity. Here we don't have IS code provisions for direct tensile strength, though we have IS codal provisions for the other 4 strengths. So first let us see about compressive strength. Compressive strength, this is performed in CTM machine at a rate of loading of 140 kg per centimeter square, and from this we will get the compressive strength, and from the compressive strength we can compute the FCK, which is called as characteristic compressive strength, and that is what I have written here, which is FCK. Next is flexural strength. Flexural strength is also called as modulus of rupture. Mind you, it is not modulus of elasticity. It is modulus of rupture. Flexural strength is also called as modulus of rupture. It can be found out by 2-point loading in the laboratory, and for compressive strength we will use a cube. For flexural strength we will use a prism. And from FCK we can find flexural strength as 0.7 times root FCK, and let us denote the flexural strength by FCR, so that for the upcoming strengths it will be useful. Next is direct tensile strength. This can be computed from FCR as 0.5 to 0.63 times FCR. Next is split tensile strength. This can be performed in laboratory. For this we use a cylinder, and here also we'll use a CTM machine to find the split tensile strength. It is taken as 0.66 times the flexural strength. Next is modulus of elasticity. Here also we'll use a cylinder, and here we'll use compressor meter and all to find the modulus of elasticity. So what we'll do here is let me draw it here. Using the compressor meter we will find the strain value, and since we are using it in a CTM machine, we'll use CTM here, CTM here, CTM here, and for this universal testing machine will be used. So since we are using CTM here, we can find the stress value, and since we are using the compressor meter, we can find the strain value, and from this we'll get a curve and the initial tangent modulus. Initial tangent modulus means the tangent that is drawn from 0, that is the initial point. That will give us the modulus of elasticity of concrete, and it can also be found out from the formula 5000 root FCK, and this elastic modulus we are getting is short term only and not long term. Next let us look into the ascending order of strength. FCK excluding the modulus of elasticity, FCK is greater than FCR, which is flexural strength, which is greater than split tensile strength, which is greater than direct tensile strength. So direct tensile strength is the least strength of concrete. Now let us look into 6 questions that have been asked in previous GATE questions. So I will be solving 3 questions, and the other 3 questions you will be solving and commenting the answers below. Don't worry, all those concepts are already covered in this video, so you can find the answers like a champ. So first is the modulus of rupture of concrete gives what? This was asked in GATE 1995. I know it's an old question, but still, coming to the question, the modulus of rupture of concrete gives direct tensile strength. No, it does not give direct tensile strength. We know what is modulus of rupture. It is the flexural strength, which is denoted by 0.7 root FCK. So it gives my flexural strength and not direct tensile strength, and not my direct compressive strength, and not my characteristic strength of concrete. Tensile strength of concrete under bending. Yes, bending is related to flexure, and in flexure we will find the tensile strength of concrete. So my answer is option C. Next is the flexural strength of M30 concrete as per IS 456-2000. This was asked in GATE 2005 for 2 marks. So flexural strength, we know the formula, direct formula 0.7 root FCK and root 30 into 0.7, which will give me 3.83 is my answer. Next is modulus of rupture of concrete is what? They have asked just the formula. It was asked in GATE 2019 for 1 mark. And modulus of rupture, what is modulus of rupture? It is nothing but again the flexural strength only. So if they have asked modulus of elasticity, your answer will be option B. Since they have asked modulus of rupture, it is option D. So these 3 questions I have solved. The next 3 questions you have to solve it. Okay. So the modulus of elasticity E is equal to 5000 root FCK is based on what? Tangent modulus, initial tangent modulus, secant modulus, chord modulus. I'm sure as I was reciting the question, you guys knew the answer. So comment it now. Next is, this was asked in GATE 2014 for 1 mark. Next is for M25 concrete with creep coefficient 1.5, long-term static modulus of elasticity is what? This was asked in GATE 2016 for 2 marks. So they are asking long-term static modulus of elasticity. We have discussed the formula here in this video, and we also have all the sub data that we need. It is M25, therefore my FCK is 125 and my creep coefficient, which is theta, is given. From this we can find the long-term static modulus. I'm sure you guys will be able to crack this. Next is deformation in concrete due to sustained loading is what? This was asked in GATE 2018 for 1 mark. The answer, I'm sure you guys know it. So comment the answers below. All these are easy questions and you have learned it in a span of 15 minutes. If you like these videos, do leave a like and a comment and share it to your friends. It will really motivate me to post further videos. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.